Struggling with missed putts and not really sure why you're missing them. You think maybe it's green reading or maybe it's something in your stroke. You just don't know, but you know it's costing you strokes. Well, I got good news. A simple string line may be the answer. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use a simple string line to master your green reading, improve your setup, your start lines, help you roll the ball straight at your target, and you're going to be surprised at the end of the video. I'm even going to show you how to use a string line to help you control speed and distance. First, using a string line will help with your aiming, alignment, setup, and also your visual perspective. For this one, I have an alignment rod, and I'm going to imagine that I have my putter in hand and set up to this putt. Where my eyes are looking, I'm going to put it right on the side of my head, straight in line with my glasses. Now, if I stand up over this ball and I see the ball under the string, the alignment would be right there. Well, I'm a little bit outside of it there, so I need to make an adjustment with where I'm looking to here, but it helps with visual perspective. Now I know that that ball that I've set under the string is off a little bit. And that's another thing you can do, is you set up a ball from the side and you look at it and think, oh, it's straight on the line. And then you back over here and you realize I'm off the line that way too much, just like I was when I had the wrong eye position. Now I move it back up and look at it, and that ball is squarely, perfectly on the line. Now I go back with the alignment aid and I set up, and I know that I'm looking straight down the line onto the ball. And so I get a feeling and a visual perspective. This is what the proper eye position looks like. This is what its setup looks like. Then I can check, are my shoulders square to that target line? Are my hips, my knees, my feet square to that target line? So many times we have a putt that breaks like this, and we have a tendency to set up at the hole, but we should be set up on the line. Using a string line helps me remember this is my target line, not the hole. And so I want to set up with my eyes, shoulders, hips, feet on this line, not over here at the hole, because if I set up at the hole, then two bad things happen. One is I roll my ball straight to where I'm set up because I made a good stroke, and the ball misses on the low side. The other bad thing that happens is I know that I'm pointed at the hole, at least subconsciously. My brain knows that. And so I'm set up on this line. I have to push the putt out on that line. And a lot of us make that mistake. And then what happens is we get a short little 3-footer and we push it. Or if it's breaking the opposite way, we pull it. But it causes us to miss and be inconsistent. Using a string line will teach you to set up square and parallel to your target line, and trust that and make a good stroke. Now, using a string line also helps with your picking and aiming target and aiming point. So many people would look at a putt like this with this much break, and we immediately think, oh, I need to start it here instead of out here. So I'm aimed at that inside target, the inside puck, and I miss to the low side by about that far. You've got to choose the right aiming point and start line. Using a string line helps you see and visualize what that is. Another mistake that a string line will help you correct is your tendency to pull putts, think you have to pull them or push them into the hole. For instance, on this putt, same putt, that's my start line, and a lot of times people set up to that putt, and I'm not going to stroke the ball now, but in a second I will, but they'll set up to this putt and think, Okay, the target is there, but the hole's over there. I've got to pull it into the hole. Using a string line and practicing rolling the ball straight up your line will help solve that problem, because so many of us have a tendency to do this. Oh, I have to pull it over there into the hole. And we do that and miss just like that. That's the same mistake as aiming here. Using the string line helps you pick and visualize a good starting point, a good aiming point, and then learn to trust that line. And the fact is, start lines are so critical when you're trying to make more putts. Pick a start line and trust it. Another thing that a string line will do is help you practice keeping your putter face square to your target line. Here's how I use it to do that. So I set up, I know this ball is square on the line, and I know, and a lot of people get in the habit of thinking about, oh, I have an arcing stroke or a pendulum. No, stop. The putting stroke is not an arc, it's not a pendulum, it's neither one and both at the same time. You see, it's a pendulum because you move your hands straight back and through for a little bit along the line. It's an arc because your putter head or your putter shaft goes into your putter head at an angle called a lie angle instead of 90 degrees like a croquet mallet. Now, simple physics, because that shaft is on an angle, the putter head is going to arc in your stroke. Because your shoulders are a 3/4 rotating joint, your shoulders are going to cause the putter head to arc a little bit in your stroke. You don't care about any of that. Forget all of it. What's important, that is in the first 5 inches behind the ball, on the way back, and on the way back to the ball, you want this face to be square to your target line. So what I do is I set up about 4 inches behind my ball. I put a tee in the ground. And then I use the alignment aid on my putter. My putter has that beautiful, wonderful straight line, and all I want to focus on is keeping that putter face square and making that alignment aid on my putter disappear under the string line for that first 4 inches. I don't care what it does after that. Doesn't matter. But in that 4 or 5 inches right behind the wall and on the way back through, I want to see this alignment aid on my putter face be wiped out and only see the string. That helps you keep the putter face square to your target line. Now, string line is easy. You can find them all over Amazon. You can make one out of some string from the hardware store and barbecue skewers or landscape nails. I'm using the one in this video from Puttline Golf. This is not a paid promotion. The guys at Puttline are subscribers of ours, and they came up with this product. What I like about it is it has these nice pins that you can stick in the green, but it's plenty big enough for a target. Also has these pucks which are removable or not removable. I can go through that on the green, and it gives me kind of an aiming point that's a larger visual perspective, which a lot of times if you're just going at a little tiny pen like this, you have a tendency to be soft and make the putts short. Whereas if you've got a target here that's similar to a hole, you're going to hit it at the right speed, or that's what I find personally. Also, this target's a little bit smaller than the hole. It's about 3 inches in diameter versus the cup being 4 1/4 inches in diameter, which reinforces the concept of aim small, miss small. You can use this puck, anchor the string in it, and use it indoors without punching a hole in your floor or things like that, or your carpet or whatever. You can set up an alignment string on a straight putt and practice rolling balls straight up your line. You want to see the ball start on the line, stay on the line, set up on the line, and just roll that way all the time. It'll tell you immediately if you've got a setup issue or a stroke issue that's causing you to push your putt pull putts. Now, another thing that you can do with a string line is use it to get in the habit of visualizing and understanding how balls break. Like this putt starts straight up the line, and I put some golf balls here representing when it starts to break off of the line and go towards the hole. In my mind, I want to learn to see and visualize my putt rolling up this line just inside those balls and going into the hole. This will also help a lot with your speed and distance control, as I have to hit it the perfect speed so as not to touch any of those balls and still go into the hole. Speaking of controlling speed and distance, here's another cool thing you can do with a string line to work on your speed and distance control. If you've watched this channel much at all, or you've taken any of my online courses, you know that I believe in a consistent rhythm and tempo, and then a ratio, and you control the speed by how far you move the putter face during the stroke. So on this putt, I've set up, the ball is here, there's a tee here about 3.5 or 4 inches behind the ball. I put another one 3.5 or 4 inches in front of the ball, and so I want to work on this putt moving the putter face back only to that first tee and forward only that far. That's the length of stroke for this distance of putt. I want to learn to control speed and distance by how I move the putter face. Using a string line reminds you of the importance of standing behind the ball, picking an aiming target, an aiming point out by the hole, an intermediate point along that line, and lining up to them, whether you use the line on your ball or not. Once you're in the habit of that, then you can go out on the course and use a tool like the alignment ball mark. Has these spikes in it that press into the ground and hold still, and then I can pick my aiming point and target, move the line from behind with my putter, get it pointed at my target, and then line up the line on the ball with that, and trust that as a start line, just like I trained myself to do with the string drill. You don't have to go and purchase an alignment ball mark. They're like $9.99 on Amazon or whatever. You can take a coin or a poker chip and do what I've done here, which is put a black line or a marked line straight on it, and do the same thing with that. The point is, if you practice with a string line, it learns to give you teaches you to develop a visual perspective for what your start line is. And I'm going to say it again, start lines are so critical. That's why you miss so many putts. You don't choose good start lines, and you don't trust your start lines. Doing something like this and then transferring it with a tool like this or this and the line on your ball gets you practicing and playing the same way, and you learn to both choose and trust start lines. And you stop pulling, pushing, and steering putts offline. You start to trust your start line, roll the ball in it, and an amazing thing happens. It goes in the hole. And if you like seeing your golf balls go in the hole, then you ought to give this channel a subscribe. Take the tap in, easy tap in on that subscribe button. Like and share this video with one of your friends. Comment on it. Check out this video on the screen now. And until next time, here's to you making more putts.